On Route 66, from east to west, 4,000 kilometers long, from Chicago to Los Angeles. This legendary road is where it all began. Today, a symbol of nostalgia and the stuff of dreams. Route 66 runs directly through the heart of America, to its people, their stories, dreams, and struggles. We are on the way to the adventures awaiting us in the American West. This is Route 66 in New Mexico. 2,500 kilometers away from our start in Chicago, the revered old highway passes through some of the most beautiful scenery in the American West. Most of the land adjacent to the road here is part of an Indian reservation. This is the home of the Pueblo Indians. The Spanish called them pueblos, or village Indians, because they lived in permanent settlements. One such settlement is Acoma, Sky City, North America's longest uninterrupted settlement. A short drive away, we find the new Route 66 casino complex, just one of the 400 casinos found on America's Indian reservations today. A federal law passed in 1988 permits America's indigenous tribes to run gambling operations on their territory, free from government controls and financed by investors from the gambling industry. What's known as Native American gaming now generates almost $30 billion annually, virtually half of all the gambling turnover in the USA. The town of Laguna is 30 miles away and is the capital city of the tribe of the same name. The casino belongs to Laguna's 7,000 residents. Richard Luarque is the elected governor of the nation of Laguna Pueblos, as they proudly call themselves.
Our people benefit greatly from the casinos. That supports our water and sewer. It supports police, it supports our emergency response, it supports the operation of tribal government. We've been able to see job creation. We have over 1,100 employees within our casino system. We have partnerships with the universities, so we have capacity building where people are now able to get their degrees. People are able to grow into professional positions. They have succession planning going on, and so it's brought a whole nother opportunity to grow our people and put our people into decision-making roles.
The Laguna have lived on this land since time immemorial. The US government built Route 66 through the Laguna territory, but the natives were never able to profit from it. Now, the business prospects associated with the mythological status of this road might just turn things around. The further west we travel on Route 66, the drier and more inhospitable the prairie becomes. We are heading into Arizona and the realm of the canyons. The construction of the roads here opened up access to the canyons for the outside world. We have to leave Route 66 briefly, taking a short detour over the grassland to reach Brantley Baird's farm. The bears have lived on their 20 square kilometre prairie for 70 years. Brantley's ancestors were pioneers, tough people who fought the Indians for their land. But Brantley's view of his family's former opponents changed long ago. It may have helped that Brantley owes thanks to the area's native inhabitants for something that has made his farm famous. For the Indian tribes that once lived here, this canyon was one of the few means of access they had to water, this arid land's most precious commodity.
The archaeologists claim is one of the best petroglyph sites in the world. Here you'll see this is what they call the birthing scene. It's a Hopi lady that's giving birth. You see the bear over here, and you see a snake, and you see a couple of people over here. This, to me, is one of the best panels in the canyon. It's where you have your families holding hands. It's just beautiful panel. You see another one over here the same way.
No one really knows how these ancient artists were able to engrave these rocks so high up. Did they use ropes or build some sort of scaffolding?
The reason they done it is like today, we're writing in a journal, you know. You write in a journal to kind of let the folks know, you know, that what you did that day, or if it was a different kind of a day. And as near as we know, as near as I know, it's history. It just tells a story of the old Indian people that was here.
Little is known about the artists who created these rock engravings.
They're so old. Some of them, they claim, are like 7,500 to 6,000 BC. That's like 9,500 years ago, them people were in this canyon. It's mind-boggling, you know, to even think about that far back, that people were in this canyon. It's just a spiritual place. It's just a neat place to come and get away from the world. Hey, you wanna go?
On our way back to the farm, we encounter some of Brantley's buffalo. His land is set to be their home again, as it was before the white settlers, including Brantley's ancestors, almost wiped them out completely. Route 66 opened up the American West more than 80 years ago. These landscapes are known as Red Rock Mountains and Painted Desert. They look almost as if someone has poured a gigantic bucket of paint over them from the sky. When the magic of these deserts sinks into darkness at the end of another hot day, the towns lining Route 66, so seemingly bleak in the daytime, seem to come to life. Darek Halmer is originally from Pohorelice in the Czech Republic. Here, he is fulfilling a lifelong dream. For Darek, the $45,000 he had to pay in Chicago for this 1959 Ford Mercury convertible was worth it to truly enjoy the atmosphere of Route 66. Traveling with Derek, we reach the village of Seligman, Arizona. Many regard this small town as the epitome of the Route 66 feeling. Derek has an appointment here. A special ritual awaits him that is a respected tradition for a journey down this legendary highway. A visit to Seligman's barber, Angel Delgadillo. Angel is 85, as old as Route 66 itself, and he has spent his entire life alongside the road. Angel did his apprenticeship here under his father and has remained shaving and grooming his clientele here for the last 65 years. Known as the guardian angel of Route 66, Angel is used to serving customers from all over the world. His story for us begins in 1978 with the introduction of the new motorway running by Seligman.
Before they opened the freeway, Seligman was very, very, very busy. All that traffic came through Seligman. But when they opened the freeways, the business community died.
Not long afterwards, the town's train station was also closed, and it seemed that Seligman was doomed to become a ghost town. Angel mobilized the locals and started a campaign that ultimately ended with the state government designating the remainder of the old highway as historic Route 66. The veteran motorway's comeback had begun.
We the people saved Seligman and helped to save Route 66. This is a work, the American dream is still alive. But I have to tell you, I have to tell the world, no one is going to do it for you if you don't get off of your dead beat and do it yourself.
Today, Seligman prospers from a road that actually doesn't exist anymore. From the mythological freedom of the endless highway, the nostalgia of its mighty machines, and of course from the road's cult status, which conveniently fills the town's souvenir shops. Derek still has 1,000 kilometers to go before he and his Mercury board a ship in California for the journey back to Europe. But there's a problem with the reverse gear. Derek and a friend try to fix it. If necessary, Derek will just have to do without reverse. Lieselotte Hohmann is from Wiesbaden-Bierstadt in Germany. 50 years ago, she married an American soldier and moved with him to this little nest in Arizona as Lilo Russell. She stayed and ran the local post office. When she retired, she took a stab at another lifelong dream, opening West Side Lilo's Café directly on Route 66.
Die Touristen lassen die Straße 66 nicht sterben. Manche Besucher, die hier im Restaurant sind, die kamen als Kind mit ihren Eltern in 55, 54 durch und kommen jetzt, wollen sie noch einmal die gleiche Tour fahren.
Lilo's husband Patrick is also a pensioner, and he's helped her out here ever since she decided to become her own boss 15 years ago.
I believe so.
Brenda, their youngest daughter, is the head cook. Here you can get all the diner dishes one expects on an American motorway. But Lilo's menu also has more. Meals like bratwurst with kraut and cream potatoes, the speciality of the day.
Sehr viele Amerikaner, die in Europa und Deutschland besonders stationiert waren. Die wollen wieder immer Kartoffelkrabbel essen, die wollen wieder immer Rotkraut essen, ein guter Rehbraten, alles mache ich selbst. Alles, was ihr da in dem Schrank seht, die Kuchen, mache ich alles selbst. Denn all die Rezepte, die ich habe, das ist alles von Wiesbaden, Bierstadt. Meine Oma in Deutschland war Köchin. Meine Mutter hat sehr gut gekocht. Und ich glaube, dadurch hat mir schon immer Spaß gemacht. Ich werde nie reich hier drin, aber es macht Spaß.
It is these kinds of family-run businesses that make a journey along Route 66 a genuine interaction with the country, its people, and their stories. Just outside of Seligman is Arizona's biggest attraction, the Grand Canyon. The Colorado River Canyon is 450 kilometers long. The western part of the canyon, directly on Route 66, is Walapai Indian Territory. Whoever controls the river controls the business on the river, says Eileen Habertone, a committed lobbyist for her tribe's interests for many years. Nowhere is the power of the river more evident than on her tribe's territory. Over time, the Colorado River gorged and sliced its way through the Rocky Plateau, exposing 2 billion years of the Earth's history in the process. Eileen's ancestors lived here long before the arrival of the white people. 1/3 of her tribe died in a war with the settlers that lasted almost 4 years. Despite the huge losses, the Walapai could not be budged.
The river is considered the backbone of the people. It's strong and it's powerful. We call it, it has powerful medicine to us. And when people come here, they come here for healing. You know, they come to be healed because they have to get away from everything else, to clear their mind and to come with peace. We believe in finding a balance in here and in here. And that's what the canyon does. That's what the river does for you.
Eileen visits this natural wonder's sacred spots regularly.
When I come down here, it's because I want to offer a prayer, or I'm soul searching, or I have a major decision in my life that I need to make. And this is a place that I come to seek out guidance.
It was here that Eileen also found the strength to make a life-altering decision.
I was 19, 20 years old. My dad told me, you know, young lady, you got to do something with your life. And, you know, I had an opportunity. Opportunity was knocking on my door, but I knew it was taking me, you know, clear across the world to me, to a place I've never been before. I went to the river and I prayed and I asked for guidance in my life, which direction I should go.
Eileen's path took her to study at university in New York and then onto the White House as its first Native American intern. Returning to the Grand Canyon many years later, she built up a boat tour business on the Colorado River on behalf of the tribe. No outsiders are allowed to visit one of the most sacred Walapai sites, well concealed deep within another canyon, shooting off from the Grand Canyon itself.
The Walapai teachings teach us that our creation story originated here. The canyon itself is where the people lived, and the origin story tells us that there were bands of tribes that lived there, and some kids got in a fight, threw rocks, and the families took sides. So the chiefs told them, well, we can no longer live in harmony. So you take your band and your family and you go to the west. And he told the other family, and you go to the east, you know, and you go and you live there. And this is where we believe we all originated from and began.
The Grand Canyon is the past and the future of the Walapai. Eileen says that from the former, her tribe derives the strength for the latter. Once we leave the Grand Canyon westwards, things get lonely on Route 66. There are only a few villages along the road and the scattered remains of the odd motel here and there, long abandoned since the modern freeway was built further south. In western Arizona, Route 66 winds its way through the mountains. This stretch of road is still exciting, even today. It is known as Gold Mine Road, running along a stretch where one mine followed the next 100 years ago. All that remains today are the rusting remnants the gold diggers left behind, the tunnels, steam engines, and centrifuges. They bear silent witness to the gold rush that once drew adventurers to the Arizona-California border from all over the world. They kept coming until the earth seemed to have given up all it had. Things were quiet then for a long time here in the Gold Mountains, but this also appears to be over. Rod Eyring is digging for gold. Rod is a professional hunter in Wyoming, far up in the north where the winters are cold and hunting season is short. Like so many before him, Rod is following the call of gold. After all, its price has increased 6 times from what it was worth in 2000. Rod only wants to stay here from November until June, as long as the temperature is still bearable. His first season is almost over, and in the meantime he has developed a nose for where the gold might be hiding on the bed of the former panning streams. But the land where gold diggers like Rod work belongs to others.
No, I can say there's gold in all this fields here.
Al Adams staked his claim years ago and has had other people work it for him ever since.
First, huh? Okay. Last 15 years, I've had people from all over the country come here. I know hundreds of people that wants to find gold. See the real gold mining. Here they did this in 1936. They dug this. Now this is 2011. We're back digging it again, because gold is a lot more expensive than what it was back in the 30s. So.
Anyone wanting to work Al's claim has to rent the equipment from Al. This means that Al Adams always gets paid, whether the gold diggers find anything or not. Al learned how to dig for gold from his father and grandfather in Idaho at the age of 7. Now his experience can help out the novices.
But I don't see no big ones yet. See the gold right there, my end of my finger?
Something I always wanted to do was on my bucket list. You can do it as much as you want or as little as you want. So it's just up to you. Most people won't work very hard at it. They expect to find it, and when they don't find it, they give up. So, because it's a lot of hard work, to find it. And you've got to be diligent, and then when you do find it, stick with it. But it just doesn't appear, people think it's going to appear.
I bet you got a big piece.
Soon we'll see if the hard work of the last few hours has paid off. Al says that experience is the key, but even then, it is often Lady Luck who decides whether the lonely months out here have been profitable. And today, Rob is lucky, thanks in no small part to Al's good eyes. This piece of gold is worth $35.
First piece I found, I was very excited, and it was just a small little piece. What you want is to find big pieces, and not a lot of small pieces. Where I am right now, there's big pieces and not a lot of small. So, but it's just a matter of volume. The more you run, the more gold you'll get.
Al knows that more gold may be hiding in the thick mud, so he washes everything again with the pan, as much as anything to show us that he hasn't lost his touch, although he's over 70 now.
This is my grandfather taught me this 60 years ago. I do it the old-fashioned way.
Even though this is routine for Al, the gleam in the pan still brings a gleam to his eye.
It's been there a million years, and you're the first person that ever got your hands on it. That's the fascination to it. It's a thrill getting it. To hit it rich nowadays is like winning the lottery. There's not that many people that gets rich.
In a couple of weeks, Rod will pack up his tent and head back to the forests in the north to hunt again. He says that as soon as the first snow falls, he wants to come back. Since leaving Chicago, we have covered 3,300 kilometers on Route 66. Our only companions through the searing heat of the Mojave Desert are the freight trains. We reach California, the last of the 7 U.S. states on Route 66. In Essex, we run across yet another resident.
And we had a gas station up here where this old store and post office is. We had the old style pumps that were glass, 10 gallon, hold 10 gallons, pump it up like this. And I used to sell gas to them when I was like 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, and they come in here going to Bakersfield, and they come in here and say, "How far is it to Bakersfield?" That's the way they talked. I was here.
John R. Bentley has lived here his whole life, all 72 years of it. In 1961, he opened a new petrol station with a garage on Route 66. Then the day came when the new interstate highway opened 3 kilometers away.
Good Friday, 1972, I remember it. It came in March. So I figured I was out of business, but I held on. Kept going. I had to close down the gas station and the repair work.
Occasionally, John's son visits him here, and they drive out to the desert. John loves the desert silence. The peaceful serenity is interrupted only by the 150 trains that pass by daily.
crossing that goes over the railroad, they have to honk. Otherwise, they fire the engineer. So every time one goes by, that's what we have to live with, but you get used to it.
Essex is said to have 10 residents, but John's not really sure. Is it a lonely place?
No, we got people like you coming in here every day. People wanting to buy gas, which we don't have, tire work, information. So we don't get lonely. Sometimes we wish we could.
Essex is the last town on Route 66 for the next 100 kilometers. The average temperature during the summer is 40 degrees centigrade. After hours on the road, Roy's Cafe is a real oasis. One would think that the Mojave is no place for people. But right here on Route 66, the Mojave is Captain Nick Manweiler's office. We're in 29 Palms, the U.S. Marine Corps' largest training base. The base covers an area as large as Germany's entire Saarland region. Up to 50,000 Marines take part for several weeks every year in a training program called Mojave Viper. The program is designed to train them for desert warfare. It's already over 30 centigrade by the early morning.
Contact front! Marines take pride in being able to fight in any climate place, anywhere that we're asked to go. Marines have to be ready to do it. So training in rugged places like this, where it's hot, where it's difficult, your gear's heavy, that's good for Marines. That's very good. It's not comfortable for a vacation. You maybe wouldn't bring your family out and put them through this for a day, but this is exactly what Marines do.
The 7th Regiment 1st Battalion gets their briefing. This 180-man unit calls itself Suicide Charlie. These troops were always in the front lines and highly decorated for their service against the Japanese, in Korea, Vietnam, and in the 2 Gulf Wars.
You have notional machine guns firing on Trench 3.
On a nearby hill, a mortar unit makes its battle preparations. Everything here is intended to run as realistically as possible.
This is exactly what the Marine Corps is all about. We are America's crisis response force, and it's our job, as told to us by the Congress, to be the most ready when America is least ready. And this is where the Marine Corps comes to make sure that we are ready to respond wherever we need to go.
Elevation! 1360! 1360!
Today's exercise mission: conquer and secure a hill. The battle lasts for hours and all the ammunition is real. The soldiers on the front line request support from the mortar unit. An advance party reaches the enemy positions. To finish up, the troops practice their hand-to-hand combat skills. For now, no one is shooting back. The pasteboard dummies wait patiently to be shot. But for most of these soldiers, things will change soon. Real combat has a high price. Iraq claimed the lives of 16 men from this unit alone. We're back on the highway through the desert. Then the first signs of civilization appear. Route 66 reaches the part of California where milk and honey are said to flow, and everyone dreams of becoming a star. The Easy Rider generation meets up at the barn in Newberry Springs. The wild boys of yesterday have grown into businessmen, lawyers, doctors, and farmers. All that remains is the wild outfit on Saturday morning. So this is the destination so many people on Route 66 set out to reach. Have they found what they're looking for? Welcome to California, in an America vastly different from the one we left 4,000 kilometers ago. Somehow the general feeling, the attitude here is oddly familiar.
Take it away, Roxanne.
On a day like today, it's very hard to imagine the role this road played in a major national trauma long ago, a role that still remains an important part of its legend today. At the end of the 1930s, convoys as far as the eyes could see reached the Californian border at the end of a genuine trail of tears. Route 66 was the route for an unprecedented mass exodus. For years, drought and sandstorms destroyed the means for farmers in the Midwest to sustain themselves and their families. A disaster, a man-made disaster. Grain overfarming in Oklahoma turned its once fertile ground into what became known as the Dust Bowl. Sandstorms did the rest. They also swallowed the farm belonging to Earl Shelton's father.
He didn't sell it. He just lost it. Just couldn't make the payment and pay the taxes. Hey, there was nothing that would grow. And where we were, it was more the drought did more damage than the wind. But we had the wind at times. And hey, that red dirt, all the area there seemed like in Oklahoma was old red clay.
Earl's mother died when he was just 4 years old, and like so many others, Earl's father searched desperately for a way to salvage the situation.
They flew over and dropped out flyers, and my dad got one of those flyers and says plenty of work in California, workers needed, you know, orange pickers, grape harvesters, everything. And my dad just thought it was going to be a land of plenty.
Over the next few years, at least 1 million used Route 66 to reach the Promised Land in the largest exodus in America's history. Earl's father bought a driving license and a car with his last remaining money.
It wasn't packed too heavy because we didn't have nothing. Just clothes and a couple of mattresses. Well, we had a suitcase or two, but put the mattresses on top, and we left Oklahoma day after Christmas in 1941. We drove 25 miles an hour or so, and Dad had $2.20 in his pocket, and here we came.
In his book, The Grapes of Wrath, author John Steinbeck chronicled the plight of the Okies, as the refugees from Oklahoma were called. In the same book, he also designated Route 66 the Mother Road.
We came over the Tehachapi Mountains there and saw the valley here. It was paradise. No pollution in or this and that. Boy, you could see every grape vineyard, every orchard, every alfalfa field. And we got here, it was paradise.
After months of hunger and sacrifice, Earl and his family finally reached Weed Patch, one of the many camps set up by the US government for the Dust Bowl's migrant workers, as they were officially called. For 13 years, Earl's family had to live in these barracks. They kept their heads above water, working as cheap day laborers and potato pickers, immigrants in their own country.
When we got here, even in 41, local people didn't want their kids going to school with us. They called us dumb okies, unclean, they just didn't want their kids to associate with us. But I survived, and I still managed to go to school. And I made my way.
What started with the long journey on Route 66 ended happily for Earl Shelton. He became an engineer in an oil factory. He married, and all 4 of his own children made their way in the promised land. The last few miles of old Route 66 have been covered with grass for years now. Shortly before Los Angeles, it disappears entirely in the street maze of a modern metropolis. Behind us lie some 4,000 kilometers, but also numerous encounters and stories. Here we find ourselves at the historic end of Route 66 at the Santa Monica Pier on the Pacific Ocean. Getting here was all the fun.